Hello and welcome to another edition of the Mayor Dan Plutko Show. I'm very pleased to have as my guest today Jackie Lovejoy from the Dearborn Area Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you.
And Jackie, thanks so much for being a guest.
It's my pleasure. I'm always happy to be here.
It's always good seeing you. And I know that there are a lot of good things always going on with the Chamber. We're always encouraging our local businesses to join because it really is a good group to network with, mutual businesses. I know as a city official, it's a good way to have good relationship between the city and the businesses. But in particular, you're here today to announce a new show that you're doing.
Well, you know, it was one of your great ideas too. Apparently, in the past, there was a chamber chat kind of show.
Yes.
So we're going to resurrect that, and we're going to call it the Chamber Cafe.
Okay.
So you can always come and you can check into the Chamber Cafe and see what's on the menu for this week, this month, see what's going on around Dearborn, Dearborn Heights, our whole area. We really cover a lot of the southern Wayne County area.
Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of unique. I'll have visitors come in the city and they'll tell me like, what would you suggest as a restaurant? I mean, we have a tremendous amount of Middle Eastern, Italian, we've got sushi, Mexican.
People
we got
are
everything.
always amazed. People are amazed at the depth. We have French restaurants. We have Thai restaurants. Sushi, as you mentioned. Italian, we're awash in Italian and some great Italian. And of course, Middle Eastern, I can't name one because another favorite of mine, their feelings will be hurt. You'll never leave our area hungry.
No, I totally agree. And you can, the diversity of the food is really, but it's good food. Much of it is very reasonably priced. Mm-hmm. But I know that when I've traveled, being a member of the Downriver Conference or Western Wayne County Conference, and people will tell me, like, just name one, but I said we weren't going to do it, but Mexican Fiesta. Mm-hmm. People say, we go up there every weekend to Mexican Fiesta. And so it's kind of a point of interest that brings a lot of people into Dearborn Heights.
Well, here, and I'll give due diligence because we have multiples in many categories. Matador on Van Born, they do a great job. They're just on the edge of Taylor in Dearborn Heights. People are amazed at the depth of really authentic ethnic restaurants, not the local franchise opened up, but really family-owned, good food, keeps you full in this cold winter weather.
Absolutely. So and we could go on and on, but so the show will give an opportunity. Are these going to be all held here, or are you going to visit some of these locations?
Well, it depends on our camera crew. If they want to come out with me, I'd love to do location, but I'd love to have people in the studio as well. We'll talk about all the different things because the Chamber, we have our fingers in a lot of pies. I always like to say we're a leg of the table. We help hold up the community. So we can have educational officials, because we have an education committee. Mm-hmm. We have all of our community events that we hold. And then just a lot of small business education. Mm-hmm. Our Young Entrepreneurs Academy is in full swing. Our award winners from our annual meeting and our Chamber Choice Awards and Expo. We do more than 40 events a year. 17 or 18 are usually complimentary for our members. And we're a very unique chamber. A lot of chambers are an 80-20 split between big business and small business. We're really a 50-50 split between big business and small business. So you really mix with everybody in the area. We all really uphold this area, whether you live here or you work here. We have more than 140,000 people who drive into Dearborn and Dearborn Heights zip codes every day to do business. So, that's a great thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, that sounds like it's going to be really exciting because I'm not sure every Dearborn Heights resident is aware of all the nifty things that are out there, and there really are. There's some very unique places that we've done grand openings in that we've looked at and we said, wow, But a real important piece is getting the word out, so that your show will be a vehicle to get the word out that here's something different to try.
Exactly. And we're lucky. I go to Chamber Education in Philadelphia every year, and this year I've been invited back to teach, which is very exciting. But we're lucky in our corner of the world because the rest of the world doesn't work this way. Dave Kniezek, our state rep, called me up before I came in today, and we're talking about great businesses in his footprint of his districts that he serves. And we've just gone back and forth all morning. He has 12, I don't want to give away his secrets yet, but we're just brainstorming just great community partners. And so to have that kind of relationship, the Chamber likes to think of ourselves as a conduit. If you don't know where to go, what to do for fun, or who's to help you out, that's what we're here for.
And at the Tale of Two Cities just last week, I mentioned about this joint marketing aspect, and that the city of Taylor and Mayor Sollers and myself have talked about, because Masco's moving to Livonia, the Kmart closed on Van Born, and since we share that common border, it's important for both communities. And one of the individuals that was at the dinner, I can't disclose the business, asked me after the meeting as to whether or not the Masco and the availability of that property. So that's one of the real pluses of networking amongst the chamber. Who would have thought that by mentioning that one aspect, that somebody who's looking for office space is in there and saying, this could be an answer to my business, and they hadn't thought of it. It didn't even come across because they were unaware of it, but it's adjacent to other properties they have in the area, and they said, we want to pursue this. So the next day I got a call from their secretary saying, hey, can we meet with you and the other mayor? We're interested to look at this thing. So the synergy, the energy that can be created from these kinds of things, and it's almost like a brainstorming type thing. Someone mentions A, and it'll generate an idea in B, and now both businesses are going to be doing a lot better.
That's really exciting, and another great example of that is Ford and Ford Land's use of the Lord and Taylor property over at Fairlane Mall. To see a mixed-use campus of a mall is really the wave of the future, and that, I'm sure started through we have this space, what are we going to do with it? And gee, it's turned out fantastic. The Chamber's going to be taking a field trip there in the next couple of months too.
And that's important because there is a revolution going in retail, and how we all thought retail. I remember when my dad had his store, and then he had a couple stores, small retail, and all of a sudden the big malls started happening, and this was the new wave. And so it was difficult for smaller businesses to compete against some of the big box stores. And now the internet wave has come in, and the box stores are now having the same pressure that the small business guy was having, say, in the 60s and 70s. So things change, but I think our businesses are well positioned, because if you have little niches, and the other plus is that I know, like, if a person came to my dad's store, they could provide the service for the product, tell us what it is how you're going to use this product, and we'll place the right thing for you. So it's energy efficient, it's this, it's that. And a lot of times, and that's the part that you don't get on the internet always. They don't always give you those kind of aspects. Our small businesses can.
And that's a wonderful thing. And the other thing I think a lot of people forget is the more things change, the more they stay the same. Because I work with the Michigan Downtown Association a lot, and we're really seeing downtowns and the sole proprietorship making a full turnaround, because things are so convenient. You can shop online, but people go out and they look for an experience, or they look for people with experience. So whether you're looking for something that's going to be fuel efficient, and I don't want to self-educate myself, I want to trust an expert that I hopefully know in my neighborhood, or if I'm looking for a really unique dining experience to take my out-of-town guests to, this is what we do in our neighborhoods. We really have a unique blend that really does well.
And that's kind of looking back on it, because I know a lot of people said it's too bad you don't have a Westland and a Southland in your city. But now, as we look at it, that might not be a bad thing, because I know in Toledo they had 3 major shopping centers. They're down to 1. And that's a lot of space to try to fill. They gave up. They had a southern and a northern shopping center, and the only one that really survived was the central one around the Toledo campus. But that's a big area that you get this huge building. It's almost like the Pontiac Silverdome. What do you do with something like that?
You know, Muskegon hosted the Chamber Convention a couple of years ago, and that was one of the really unique things. They had a factory downtown that actually went out of business. They had a mall that took up a huge footprint that went out of business, and they've turned their downtown into a walkable, enjoyable downtown. They preserved their old theater there, and it's actually the home of Buster Keaton. And the things I learned on this job, I have to tell you, I really did find my dream role. But that's it, the reinvention. I tell people all the time, you have to believe in the cocoon. It's coming down the road.
Mm-hmm. And that's extremely important. And that's what I think makes you successful in what you do, because you do look at kind of what's happening, but at the same time, you're very adaptable, so you've been able to come up with good suggestions and ideas, and have really made the chamber a very viable, excellent means for small business or all the businesses in the area. So my kudos to you and your staff, because you do a great job.
Thanks. We appreciate it. You know, we're very lucky though. We have a community that is united and comes together and supports each other. It's one of the least cliquey areas of the country that I've ever been in. You're a stranger just once if you come to a chamber event. Mm-hmm. It's a fun group. I fell into it. I got lucky.
No, it's absolutely true. You have a good time, good companionship, but at the same time, through your educational seminars and joint programs, it is beneficial. And I remember that my dad always made it a point to go to the chamber meetings and saw the value of them. But the big criticism, because I'd be with him as a little boy, and he took me to work, and I learned, actually he taught me how to do his business from top to bottom, and that was invaluable, because he really, a small business person has to do everything, the bookkeeping normally and everything else, and learned a lot. But he would take me along, and he would talk about, gee, you ought to come to chamber meeting, and some of these owners, entrepreneurs, who say, I don't have the time. Stan, I'm working from 9 to 9. I mean, and my dad would say, no, you don't understand. If you come, you're going to find out benefits. Maybe what you're doing is not the most and highest, best use of your time. And so he encouraged him. And I used to hear his message all the time. So I've been sold on to chambers since I was a little boy.
I'll pay you later.
Okay.
Well, that's what they say. Take time out and sharpen your saw. If you can pause while you're working your business to work on your business, that helps a lot. Mm-hmm. It really does.
And it's difficult, I know, because you have to do it all. And these people, hopefully they are rewarded because they put their whole life in their business. They usually have significant investments in them. And but they're really good experts. I mean, I remember a couple people, but I picked things up from my dad, and they would say, this 12-year-old boy knows the difference between General Electric Frigidaire refrigerators. I picked that up. The only thing my dad says, don't talk price. That's my job. I'll close the deal, but so they don't walk out the store, and they would sit there and say,
Dan gave away the store.
Yeah, they would sit there and say, this 12-year-old knows the difference between frost, no frost, the positives and negatives. But you learn that stuff. I would hear it so often.
It's osmosis. You're there, you're in the environment, You're learning. It's amazing. Well, to that point, I'll use my cheat sheet.
Okay.
We have a small business breakfast on February 3rd. DFCU has come to the table to be a small business education partner.
Good.
And yeah, it's great. And it's business plans that'll help grow your business. So many people think of a business plan as this static thing you take to the bank and hopefully they'll give you some money. Well, hopefully if you have a lively business plan, you can grow to those goals, or you can adjust along the way for any market changes that are on the way. And then we also have a small business lunch on Wednesday, February 8th, and it's going to be intellectual property, copyrights, trademarks, all those things that maybe you don't have time to research, and it's going to be very digestible for the small business person during those lunch sessions. So that's always interesting, and once again, one of those little moments you can take to sharpen your saw.
And that's important. I know a local businessman who lives in Dearborn Heights, and he opened up a restaurant. Did not realize, and it took like months later, but he had menus, he had signs, all this marketing for the name, and found out that somebody else owned the name.
Oh.
And so then he spent a considerable amount of money defending, and he did not. But who would have thought that that would have been? But little things like that that you might not really consider, but there are assumed name papers and that kind of stuff that, yeah, rather than be an expert on, you could come and learn. But that's a true instance of, I won't mention the business. I know that he still has the name, so he either compromised or won, but that actually happened.
Well, that's it. And sometimes you don't win. I know of a salon out, and I'll say out in the Romeo area. I used to do a lot of work out there. And they were actually contacted by a very large institution in Europe that they named themselves after. Now, who would think that would happen? But they had to change their signs,
Yep.
all their brochures, their logos, all of that artwork. And it's just, it's just money gone.
Yeah, because the man told me he received a cease and desist order. And he said, I can't take the name off the business. And he had spent all this money to convert. So that's a worthwhile seminar to do.
Yes, that's always, that's it. An ounce of planning, right? Mm-hmm. Versus a pound of cure or something like that.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you're with other small businesses, someone may have had that kind of experience or can assist, and so that becomes very helpful. And it's so much positive. I can't think of a negative, and your dues and everything are not that expensive, especially for everything that you get as a chamber.
Well, we had an eye-opener this morning. One of the great things, I have to tell you, one of our huge supporters says, if you come to the chamber, you get what you put into it. But I always like to add on, if you're too busy, I'm happy to pass out your coupons. Put your chamber staff to work for you. And if you're looking for a great marketing opportunity, you don't necessarily have to come. Give us a call, and we'll get your name in front of your demographic, because we have all the public school systems are chamber members, all the higher ed school systems, both of our wonderful cities, all of our corporate entities, our small businesses. So if there's a particular demographic you're looking for, if you're looking for homeowners or people of a certain income level, we can help you find that market. And you don't have to necessarily, it's the gym you don't necessarily have to go to. And I would pay double for that gym.
And we're looking, we'll keep you in touch as we do this major marketing thing between Taylor and Dearborn Heights along the Van Born corridor. We know that there's significant development going on in Ford Road and Warren Avenue, and so we're experiencing quite a bit of growth. Downtown Dearborn is got a renovation through Ford Land that's coming about. We're really fortunate in these two communities. There is growth in housing, in population, in people want to invest in commercial business. And it's a lot different from some of our surrounding neighbors that they tell me they have nothing going on. No new business, no new housing, and we're doing something right. And I think one of the things is the chamber is part of our partner.
Yeah, well, like you said, we're all partners. We're all legs of that table that hold up the community. And as I've said, people around the country, my cohorts around the country, and I'm like, well, sure, my cities belong to the chamber, and sure, I go to my city events. I mean, we're all part of the community. Many hands make for light work. I think that's very unique to Southeast Michigan in general. Mm-hmm.
So we got a good thing going here. We're happy to promote it, and your new TV show is going to be.
It's going to be exciting. Yes. Follow me around, meet me here in the studio. It'll be loads of fun.
Well, I just hope that as you take my crew and my staff over here, that I don't know if I should buy them gym membership, or are they going to add a lot of weight from all this food they're going to be sampling?
My trick is I eat a little everywhere I go. I don't eat a lot in one spot.
Well, yeah, you take good care of yourself. I'm worried about my crew, so don't let them eat too much.
Okay, I won't. I promise.
So with that, anything else that we need to?
Well, you know, our Young Entrepreneurs Academy, and this is open to the public and it's complimentary. We have a C-level, which is like the corporate, you know, the chairman of the board, the chief operating officer. We have a round table at Henry Ford College, and that is Thursday, February 16th. And these executives come and they share their knowledge with our Young Entrepreneurs class. And it's a fantastic networking opportunity for any of our businesses in the area. These are corporate leaders from formerly of London Fog, of, Varnum Law Firm, Ford, I mean, private business owners that come to the table, Sunglow. It's amazing the people who come to the table to share their knowledge and the networking that goes on after the fact. So that is Thursday, February 16th. It's going to be at Henry Ford College, and it'll start at 5:30. If you guys check out the Chamber website, you can register there because we tend to have free refreshments. I'll only let you eat a little. And it's the DearbornAreaChamber.org. So it's very easy to find all of our stuff.
Okay, and we'll put that on the bottom of our interview here.
Of our screen, yes.
And so if you didn't have a pencil and paper handy as you read some of those dates, if you go on, they're all on there.
Exactly. We try and make it as painless as possible.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, I'm excited to watch these shows and these and what you have planned to in the coming years. So in 2017, I know it's going to be a success, and so I look forward to seeing it. And I would hope that our viewers would pay attention to the fact that this new show is going to be starting, and it's going to be, once again, the name of the show?
The Chamber Cafe.
Chamber Cafe. So,
come and see what's on the menu.
So we're anxious to see the premiere will be very shortly. And I want to thank everybody for watching another edition of the Mayor Dan Pletko Show. Jackie, thanks for being a guest.
Oh, my pleasure all the time.
Okay.